And welcome back to the Hot Seat of College Football Show. I am Trent, your host, as today I wanted to run over my rankings for the Big Ten quarterbacks ranked 1 through 18 for the 2026 college football season. Let's talk about it. Alright, so before we get into this video, make sure you hit the like button if you enjoyed today's show before you leave. It helps recommend the show to new people on YouTube so we can grow this community. We know we get more comments down, we get more subscribers, it just gets bigger and it's bigger. Then when we get big enough, we can start reaching out to other bigger creators, and obviously that is the goal, just to make more college football discussion. That's why I started it. It's why I love it. And then if you also really enjoyed today's show, if you wanted to hit the subscribe button, it would mean the world to me. We're at 223, trying to get to 230, 500 before the beginning of next season. So if you want to help us get there inch by inch, brick by brick, that would be amazing. But I want to go over my preseason Big Ten quarterback rankings. These might change, especially maybe towards the top. The guys at the bottom, there's not a lot to go off, especially with some of the new guys. So do we want to start at the top or the bottom? Since kind of retention drops off the later we get into this video. So let's start off with number 1. Who is my number 1 quarterback in the Big Ten? Well, that would be is there any Heisman finalist on here that's not number 1? No. So he's the only Heisman finalist on here. He's a returning starter from the Ohio State. Julian Sayin is my number 1 quarterback in the Big Ten. And I have a lot of criteria when I look for how I want to rank these. There's some of its character, if it's grit, sometimes it's size. Sometimes you maybe go on recruiting, especially for younger guys. But the biggest one is, how do you perform in the biggest moments? And you're like, well, Trent, Julian didn't play super well in the Big Ten Indiana game. That's true. But the offensive line play was so bad. The pick 6 was kind of on Jeremiah's fault. I mean, the screen was going out to Brandon Innes. So obviously Julian didn't play great. But none of these quarterbacks have played perfect in their best scenarios, because all of the best quarterbacks who played well are all veterans that have gone to the NFL, like Fernando, Will Howard, who also, I mean, Dante Moore was supposed to leave, he came back. But like we have seen it where the guys that are here this year were kind of in an era where it's like seniors are coming back, but all the seniors that are coming back is because they weren't good enough. So they get better their senior year and they leave. That's why, I mean, this quarterback draft class this year is going to be so good. The reason why the past 2 have been so bad, especially this year's quarterback draft class, was only 1 good quarterback. I mean, the year before it wasn't great either, but like Jackson Dart's been pretty good. Cam Ward's been all right. So it's all because Arch Manning came back, and all of the quarterbacks this year are going to be so stacked. I mean, I'm looking at 3 to potentially 4 first-round quarterbacks just in the Big Ten coming out this year. So Julian, number 1. The reason why I made a video a month ago about my top 10 quarterbacks in the country, and I actually had Dante Moore over Julian Sayin. I've thought about it a little more, and the thing that I always go back to is commonality. Dante Moore played Indiana twice, Ohio State played it once. I looked at how Julian Sayin played against Indiana, played pretty well, aside from, the sacks, and that's because he's a first-year starter, he's a redshirt freshman, and the play calling was really bad. So you got to kind of take that into accountability. He didn't play well against Miami, but, aside from the pick 6, he was harassed all night. And I look how Dante Moore played against Indiana, and it's like 4 pick 6. I'm like, holy shit. Like, Dante Moore was unplayable. He had literally first play of the game, pick 6. First play, kickoff, touchback. It's like 4:59 or 15 minutes on the clock in the first quarter. Pick 6. So I got Julian Sayin first. Again, he's a returning starter. He's the only Heisman finalist on this list coming from the Big Ten. Now, it leads me to number 2. Just talked about him. Dante Moore, out of Oregon, returning starter. You could even make a case that he is the projected first overall pick, when at the end of last year, he was supposed to be the 2nd overall pick behind Fernando Mendoza. You remember, second overall pick came back. So maybe they did not believe that he was going to be the 2nd overall pick, but I think after the Indiana game, it kind of set him back a couple $1 million maybe, because that was a pathetic performance. You know, he played well a couple drives, but I mean, I don't know what's happening with Dan Lanning teams against in your biggest games against Ohio State and against Indiana. Just literally melt. It's like 35-7, 34-8 at halftime in both of those games. And that's not even, I mean, you could even talk about the Washington game in 23 in the Big 12, the Pac-12 championship. In the first half, Washington was destroying Oregon. Oregon was lucky to come back. And remember, that was with Bo Nix. So I don't know what's going on. Maybe it's more of a Dan Lanning problem than Dante Moore, but I like Dante Moore. He's talented. He's going to be, a third-year starter, one at UCLA, sat a year, now two starting at Oregon. He's got a lot of weapons this year. This is one of the veteran teams in the country, one of the best teams in the country. You're going to get a lot better at receiver now with Evan Stewart coming back into Corian Moore in his second year. For all of the talent, and obviously with the NFL, they look for talent. That's why Ethan Oniawa from Ohio State went to Pro Day. Even though he's unplayable, he has a lot of the NFL measurables, which kind of got him back there. So for the draft, maybe he'll be higher on this list than in the just college rate. Because the difference between an NFL quarterback and a college quarterback are completely different. Julian Sayin is not a college quarterback. He's a NFL quarterback, but also that hurts him when he's playing in college because college quarterbacks like Will Howard, have his jersey right here, that is suited for college. That's why we won a national championship with Will Howard. That's why we won a national championship with Cardell Jones. That's why we won a national championship with Craig Krenzel. We did not win anything with Troy Smith, Terrell Pryor, Justin Fields, CJ Stroud, Julian Sayin yet. JT Barrett was a good college quarterback. He just was hurt the year that they won it. I'm trying to think of what other Dwayne Haskins, you know what I mean? Dwayne Haskins, you could say, was probably pretty good in college. Say it was Stroud. But those are NFL guys that are suited for the NFL. It's different in college. But Dante Moore, in the biggest games, he has struggled. And that is a characteristic that has kept him from being number one. That's why he's not number one. He probably gets drafted over Julian Sayin. I think Julian Sayin's going to get drafted kind of like how Justin Fields got drafted. That kind of 10 to 11 range. I don't know. Maybe he could climb up to 2. We'll see with this year. Maybe he can win a Heisman. Maybe Jeremiah can win a Heisman. But just for now, I have Julian over because Julian has not had a meltdown game like Dante Moore had. So I got Julian 1, Dante Moore 2. At 3, I got Jayden Maiava out of USC, another returning starter. He's being coached by Lincoln Riley. That's a great offensive mind. He's a glory. Who's the old Dolphins coach? Was it Mike McDaniel? Mike McDonald was the Seahawks coach. Mike McDaniel, glorified offensive coordinator. Same thing with Lincoln Riley. He's a glorified offensive coordinator, which is why, he's had great quarterbacks. Even Miller Moss was good. Maiava's been great. Caleb Williams was great. He made Jalen Hurts really good at Oklahoma. Baker Mayfield, Kyler Murray. So he's had Heisman after he's had 3 Heisman winning quarterbacks, Baker, Kyler, and Caleb Williams. So I trust, especially with Jayden Maiava in a returning starter year. This is a money year. Junior year, that's the money year. They want to make all the money to the NFL. Plus, now you have a running game. That's what I've been saying. This running game for USC, I'm excited for. If you remember that USC-Michigan game, USC's running game, they had a walk-on. Their third string walk-on quarterbacks or walk-on running backs were torching the Michigan defense. So, yeah, I got him at 3. At 4... And this number 4 it's a similar thing with Dante Moore. I got DeMond Williams out of Washington. Very talented, really shifty. He's a returning starter. Jedfus is a good coach. The problem is he is losing a lot of weapons. And they got a Bogpen Miller from Ohio State, he was a freshman last year, so hopefully he can be good. But again, in the biggest moments, he crumbled. In the Wisconsin game, how do you lose that? The Ohio State game, played terrible. Yes, it's Ohio State, but he didn't play well at all. And really in that Michigan game, what was it, 3 interceptions? Horrible performance on the road against a good team. And that Michigan team was a good team, but they weren't a great team. And now you're losing Jonah Coleman and Denzel Boston. So I think from a just quarterback, I think he is probably the 4th best quarterback in the Big Ten. But again, like Dante Moore in those biggest moments, I don't know if he's going to show up. If I bring up Washington's schedule, let me do it right now. in 2026. Actually, hold on. Let me, okay. I just want to look at March Madness. Kentucky won. Okay. And over by 1 point. Oh, not the Commanders. I want the Huskies. See, this always happens. I always do watching the schedule, and it's always freaking the Commanders. So, their 2026 schedule, let me pull it up. Washington, they start off the year with Washington State. That's cool. Minnesota at home. Okay, at USC, Iowa. Okay, that's kind of tough. Penn State, at Michigan State, and then they finish out the year against Indiana and then at Oregon. That's tough. So I'm looking at like 1, 2, 3, 4 losses maybe. So can Damon Williams put the team on his back and make an upset against Indiana or an Oregon or an Iowa or a Penn State? Definitely with Penn State, I definitely think they can, because I think Penn State plays Minnesota either the week before or after. Minnesota always gives them a hard time. So I definitely think they can get to, like, I think they could get to 9 wins, but they could also go 6-6, 7-5. At 5, and man, I'm gonna get so much flack for this. Oh, I'm gonna get so much flack. I'm gonna get so much shit in the comments. But I love all the hate. I don't care. If you have not watched my Big Ten, you guys should go watch it, because I elaborate more on some of these quarterbacks in that video. But if you watch my Big Ten win totals video, I am getting on UCLA 6.5 wins over under for this year. Bet the frickin' over. I'm high on. I think UCLA is going to be the 7th best team in the Big Ten. I think it's going to go like, you have your tiers. Tier 1 is Ohio State and Oregon, and then maybe Indiana or USC, maybe one of them. Tier 2 is probably going to be like your Indiana or USC, Penn State, Michigan. And then that tier 3, where it's always usually like a Nebraska, Wisconsin, Illinois, Iowa, who else? Like Washington sometimes. Who do I think is going to be that team where it's like, oh, halfway through the season, they only have one loss. Like, you know what I mean? Like, who's going to be that team? I'm getting on it before everybody else. It's going to be UCLA. They have an easy schedule, returning quarterback. They got a new coach, got a bunch of transfers. They're playing in a new stadium. There's a lot of hype around the team in LA. Just watch out. And I hope I'm right, because I want to be the first person on this train. So then I can get, that gives me some credibility. That gives me some credibility with other people. That I was like, hey, UCLA, watch out for UCLA. UCLA is going to beat somebody this year. Like they beat Penn State last year. They're going to beat somebody this year. So yeah, my 5th best quarterback in the country, I got Nico Iamaleava. Nico Iamaleava, I'm believe her. He's a returning starter. They got Bob Chesney from James Madison. What happened to the last James Madison coach who left to a Big Ten school, a bad Big Ten school, took all his players? Well, that was none other than Sig and Indiana. Obviously, I don't think UCLA is going to be Indiana, but I like where they can be. They got a lot of training. They got a lot of transfers from like Ohio State, USC, Michigan. They got some good, like, even maybe they're not starters, they got a lot of players from Blue Bloods. So I like where UCLA can do. And people are going to get upset and be like, how do you have Nico Iamaleava above Josh Hoover, who I have at 6, who is going to be the starting quarterback, where we assume, for Indiana. He's a new starter, was at TCU before, and he is the first new starter on this list. He's obviously started before, but he's like, Julian's returning to Ohio State. Dante Moore's returning to Oregon. Jayden Maiava is returning to USC. Damon Williams is returning to Washington. And Nico Iamaleava is returning to UCLA. That's your top 5. And Josh Hoover's new starter for Indiana. They got an easy schedule. They have kind of an easy schedule. Great coach. And he's an RPO king. And the receiver that they brought back, Charlie Becker, was great in the slot. Now that Charlie Becker's going to have to slide out to the X, who are they going to have to replace him with in the slot or the Z? I don't know. It depends on what Nick Marsh does. Is Nick Marsh getting in trouble? I have no idea anymore. I don't really care anymore. But we'll see. I would bet Charlie Becker's going to bounce around between the Z and the slot. I would probably think the X. Yeah, I'd probably think the X is probably going to be more Nick Marsh, the transfer from Michigan State. But if you look at Josh Hoover's tape from TCU, he is a slant merchant. And it's the reason why I don't like him. Because he gets all this hype. He's like, oh, every place, inside slant, inside slant, inside slant, inside slant, inside slant. That's all he does. That's literally all he does. But that plus with the RPO, he's an RPO merchant. That's all he does. He's not great down the field, I don't think. His stats, he had 29 touchdowns with 13 interceptions. I'm just saying, I don't know. I don't believe in Josh Hoover at all. I think is the sixth best quarterback in the Big Ten, so I don't think he's horrible. But I'm telling you, dude, I think Ohio State's going to kill Indiana. I think they're going to kill Indiana. Maybe win by 20. So that's just my early prediction for that. And everyone else thinks oh, Indiana, they're going 13-0. They're winning the Big Ten. I'm like, you idiots, you do this every year. Every year, you dumbasses. You slave literally, you guys, who won the Big Ten last year? Ohio State. Who won the national championship? Ohio State. Ohio State's going to win the national championship this year. Indiana, they won the national championship. They're going to go 16-0 and win the national title again this year. And then they're going to go 9-3. And you're like, who would have thought? Texas bringing in a new quarterback who's never played before. No, they're number one. I mean, I put them number one. Not number. I had Penn State number one, but I'm just. Don't put all your eggs into one basket for a projection. Josh Hoover was decent at TCU. He's under a good coach. That's Kirk Cinetti's being over-evaluated because they just won the national championship with 30-year-old players. I'm just saying, if Indiana's bad, I told you first, if UCLA is better than Indiana, I'm not saying that, but if they were to be, I told you at first, come back. Definitely subscribe. If I'm right about that, definitely hit the subscribe button. But yeah, I got Josh Hoover at 6. At 7, I have Rocco Becht from Iowa State transferring to Penn State with his basically Penn State, just Iowa State. He's got his coach from Iowa State. New starter, got the easiest schedule in the country. Plus, he's a senior. Rocco Becht, I'm projecting, it's kind of with Nico too, I'm projecting them to get better than they were the year before. Rocco Becht was kind of disappointing, but also I would say never really had the talent or the money. They kind of always overachieved a little bit. So I'm excited to see what they can do. Definitely could maybe make the playoffs at 11-1. 10-2, we'll see. 9-3, definitely not. But 10-2, you're going to be a bubble team. At 8, I got Bryce Underwood from Michigan, returning starter. And the note that I had down for Bryce Underwood is that he has bipolar talent. What do I mean by bipolar talent? Well, if you don't know what bipolar is, do some research. But what I mean by bipolar talent is that sometimes oh my God, that seam throw against quarters coverage. Oh my goodness, he fit that in between two safeties and over a linebacker. And then the next play, it's Bryce, where are you throwing? You are unplayable. It's funny. Bryce Underwood is possessed by, he's a two-spirit. His pronoun, he's a two-spirit pronoun. He possesses two spirits, one of Tom Brady and one of 9. So 3 plays a game, he'd be like, oh my God, that's Tom Brady. Look at that run. Look at that throw. I mean, that was perfect. And then the other play, it's oh my God, you're unplayable. It's 9. It's JJ McCarthy, who's about to get shadow banned from the NFL. You're unplayable. Bryce Underwood is unplayable half the time. And it's okay, he'll run every now and then. But if you spy him, and he was number 1 player, 5-star last year, freshman. I think he'll get a little bit better. But also with the new head coach, Kyle Whittingham, what did Kyle Whittingham do with his quarterbacks at Utah? He ran them into the ground. Look what happened to Cam Rising. And look what happened to Devin Dampier. So I would probably assume Bryce Underwood's probably going to get to 2,300 passing yards this year. Probably 12 touchdowns to 4 interceptions. But then have 9 or 10 rushing touchdowns. And we're going to be they're going to be 8-4 this year. And he had a 1,200 yards rushing and 12 touchdowns. So I don't think he's going to get developed as a quarterback. I don't think Kyle Whittingham is going to develop him as much. I think he's going to be a runner. They're going to run him. So yeah, I got him at 8. At 9, I got Katin Houser from Illinois, another new starter. Brett Bielema is quarterback proof. That's kind of what a lot of people say. He kind of just gets the best out of all his quarterbacks. I mean, look at Luke Altmaier. I think Luke Altmaier was good, but I mean, he made Luke Altmaier look a lot better than he actually was. And Katin Houser has not started before, I do not think. But yeah, I got him at 9. At 10, I got Aiden Chiles, who was at Michigan State, transferred to Northwestern with Chip Kelly as his new OC. That'll be big for him in a new stadium. Again, kind of like something that UCLA might have a little bit of hype around him. So he's a new starter for them. My thing with Aiden Chiles is he always has like one good game a year. Like last year was, or maybe it was 2 years ago. I think it was last year. They had that Boston College and was like, oh, wow, look at Aiden Chiles. And then the rest of the year, he's ass. But I think he's talented. I think he's a dual threat guy. And if he got good development this year, maybe next year, maybe he could go out as a 6th-round quarterback, sit for a couple years in the NFL, and, maybe do something. At 11 and 11 through 18, it's just kind of like a bunch of like, bleh. Like, you know what I mean? It's just like some of these guys are better. Like Malik Washington, I got him at 11 out of Maryland. Returning starter, he's a 6'5", 4-star, borderline 5-star. But again, like didn't have the production you would have wished for a guy of that caliber. Plus, Maryland's pretty bad. They, I guess, been trying to invest money into it, but Mike Locksley has been very disappointing for Maryland. At 12, I got Anthony Colandrea out of Nebraska. Nebraska replacing Dylan Raiola, who's now sitting behind Dante Moore at Oregon. He's a new starter. Hey, he made UNLV good. Remember, Alex Orji was supposed to start there. He was terrible. They put in Alex Colandrea. And I think UNLV got to, 10 wins? Went to the Mountain West Championship, I'm pretty sure. So I like where they could do with him, but I don't believe in Nebraska getting back to relevancy. At 13, got Drake Lindsay out of Minnesota. Part of this, the reason why he's low, even as I think he was a 5-star. Let me check that. Drake Lindsay 247. Was he a 5-star? I think he was, right? No, 3-star. I know why I thought that. I was thinking of Coy Parrish from Minnesota, the other white boy. He was a 5-star. But Drake Lindsay was a 3-star. But he's 6'5", 230. That's a big boy quarterback. I mean, project NFL pocket passer, which is great. He's a freshman last year. I remember watching him against Ohio State. He looked fine. Obviously, you had Coy Parrish on both sides of the ball, which was nice. But again, he's a freshman. You know what I mean? So I'm not going to put the freshman that high, especially in Minnesota. PJ Fleck doesn't really develop quarterbacks that well. At 14, got Colton Joseph. He's going to be at Wisconsin. Wisconsin will be interesting because of their win total. I think he's at either 3.5 or 4.5. And the university has admitted that they have not been putting any money in for Luke Fickell. So they're finally going to be investing in Wisconsin. So I definitely think he can overachieve. He's a new starter for them. He was at Old Dominion last year. Again, got Old Dominion to 10 wins. So definitely, I think the first play of the game of the year was when they played Indiana. And I think it was a quarterback draw for a touchdown, which I think was maybe him. Don't quote me on that. But I got Colton Joseph at 14 for Wisconsin. At 15, got Dylan Lonergan for Rutgers. Greg Schiano, he's a good coach. He'll develop him enough. I really thought Callie Akmanis was starting. That has Rutgers, I swear I thought Callie Akmanis. How was Callie always a senior? I thought he was like a sophomore. Damn, that's unfortunate. Okay. But yeah, new quarterback. He was at, where was he at the year before? Where was Dylan Lonergan at? He was at, I think, Boston College. Yeah, he was at Boston College, who was a terrible team last year. Against Georgia Tech, he played well. I think he passed for, here, let me see. He passed for, 362 yards and 2 touchdowns. They lost that game 36-34, but you played pretty well. At 16, Ryan Brown at Purdue. He's a returning starter, 6'4", 250. Against when they played Notre Dame, or 6'4", how much does he weigh? 210. Had 250 passing yards against Notre Dame when they played. Then they ended up putting 30 points on the board, which was, Notre Dame was kind of figuring itself out on defense at that point. But, there's stuff to go off of. Again, Purdue is so bad. And these last 3 guys, I got Ryan Brown at 16. I don't got much to say. At least he's a returning starter. At 17, Alessio, Milivojevic. Alessio Milivojevic. What? The guy from Michigan State, new starter, got nothing for him. He's a freshman. And then the guy at Iowa, Jeremy Hecklinski. again, Iowa can't develop good quarterbacks anyways. So I don't got much to say for him. So, yeah, I'll just run over these quickly again. Julian Sayin 1, Dante Moore 2, Jayden Maiava 3, Damon Williams 4, Nico Iamaleava 5, Josh Hoover 6, Rocco Becht 7, Bryce Underwood 8, Katin 9, Aiden Chiles 10, Malik Washington 11, Anthony Colandrea 12, Drake Lindsay 13, Colton Joseph 14, Dylan Lonergan 15, Ryan Brown 16, Alessio, the Michigan State quarterback 17, and then the Iowa quarterback 18. So, yeah, those are my rankings for now. It's kind of a longer video, and I'll do one for all the other conferences when that time comes. But I hope you guys all enjoyed watching today's video. Make sure you hit the subscribe button. We're trying to get to 500 before the beginning of next season. We're trying to get to 230 before the end of the month. So if you want to help us get it, it would be amazing. And also, if you enjoyed today's show, please hit the like button. It's free. It costs nothing. It helps you do promote the show to new audiences, which would be great to help grow the show, a little more of a community. But that was all I have for you guys today. I'll see you guys all tomorrow. And as always,